I'm Teddy, and I'll tell you a little story about my true hike of Australia. I hiked along the Great Riding Range from Melbourne. I started in Melbourne and hiked all the way up to Cape York, 5,000 kilometers in total, and made some pictures, some videos, and these I want to show you. It was actually my third true hike. I hiked New Zealand before and Norway, both pretty special, both around 3,000 kilometers. But Australia has been or was something very special, to be honest.
So before I did the actual hike, I did some training hike. First I did the Great North Walk, which is going from Sydney to Newcastle. It was a very good training, very hot. I was usually hiking from 4 in the morning until 12, because after 12 it was not healthy walking, because it was over 40 degrees, and even hiding under trees, it was like, yeah, you were going from tree to tree, you couldn't sit, it was so hot, there was barely any water, and the views were stunning, and also the hike was very nice and very good to get used to the hiking, and I was glad that I did it. And finished in Newcastle, and then met my buddy Adam. Adam came over from New Zealand. We hiked the Aurora a fair bit, a couple thousand kilometers, I guess. We had so much fun. He came over, and we were just hanging out at the beach for 3 days, enjoying ourselves, and yeah, it was fun. So after New Year's and my birthday, I started without planning the Australian Alps walking track, which is going from Canberra to Valhalla. I think it's around 700 kilometers. It's great for hiking, actually, and there's a lot of history to explore. Like here, these old huts, which are some are already 200 years old. Snow gum, very nice. The hiking is very nice. I had my first encounters with snakes, which was also very good to learn. I was snakes were scaring the shit out of me. Still, if I think about it, but now it's a lot better. I mean, if you see like here in the middle of the trail, I think red belly black snake or copperhead, something venomous. So, but the views in general on the Alpine track, it's very nice. It's gorgeous up there. Hiking also very nice. So if you have only 4 weeks of hiking in Australia, do the Alpine track. I got unfortunately stopped by a fire after like 450 kilometers in. So I went to Bright, hung out there a week, and then met there some nice folks, and then decided to go to Melbourne. Took the bus to Melbourne, got the cheapest accommodation I could find for like $20 a night here in the backyard of some guy from New Zealand, actually. It was a lot of fun, so I stayed there 2 weeks and then decided to start the trip from Melbourne, St Kilda Beach to the tip, Cape York. The first day I went out of Melbourne and then into the Yarra Valley, which you might know from the good wine they have, and I can tell the grapes are delicious. I was very lucky that it was harvesting season, so grapes were ripe. Also some other fruits were ripe, so this was actually a blast in the first days. And then I came to Healsville. Healsville is the start of the BNT, the Bicentennial National Trail.
Cool. Finally, I'm on the trail, on the Bicentennial National Trail. Sounds like 4 hours. And there it is. It is the first sign. Look. Stoked. nice little hut though.
I really enjoyed visiting and learning from these old huts. They're all over the place in the high country, Victoria. It's great to see, what happened, or to think about what happened probably 150 years ago, how they were grazing the animals up here. And it's not normal that they're still open and that there are still people caring for the history and also for those huts. If you compare it to Europe, not usual. Also, Victoria is not easy hiking. It's a lot up and down, and especially if you in summer or late summer like here, and it's still hot during the day. Dang, it's hot, but you get rewarded with some gorgeous views up there. Here, this was a very nice hut. And a beautiful view, and I was very lucky that I met up there the fire tower warden, which was American, who stayed there all summer, all 12 hours a day, just looking for fires. In the morning after breakfast, we went up the tower, and just imagine sitting there all day looking at this view. Amazing, for sure. Thanks also. Like I said, it was still hot at this time, and I really enjoyed the lunch breaks in the shade. And at this night there was a big thunderstorm. There was a thunderstorm every afternoon, or at night even. And the next morning I woke up, and the next ridge, like a couple kilometers away, was on fire. And I was very lucky. I got to Likola and got there right out. I think I was the last person who got a ride out there. And I called Mitch, and he said, come over. And that was my luck, honestly. So he was showing me his beautiful backyard, and we went to the Buchan limestone caves, which was amazing. Look, there it's like, I don't know, hundreds of kilometers of caves. Crazy. And there you could see the fire from his place, which was like 100 kilometers away. And also, of course, like I said before, he helped me planning, and that was my luck, because like I said, I haven't done any planning, or not much planning. I download GPX and get it on the maps and start walking and see from week to week, but his help and all the paperwork and all the books and all the stuff he has was incredible, helping. So I think I couldn't have done it. I wouldn't be so easy, so simple hiking actually. And you can see this was actually his route, which he was walking, which I almost took all the way. Not everything, but most of the ways. Oh, Guy Fawkes National Park, you can see later. Beautiful. This is gorgeous there. New England. So he helped me a lot, so I stayed there for 2 weeks, I think, and then the bushfires got better, or at least I had to skip the Alpine Park, but then Mitch brought me back up to, I think, right before Combat Flats, and like here you can still see. Dang, it's crazy. It was a crazy year, 2019. A lot of bushfires, if you see here on the map. Lots of fires. But then I started. He brought me back up. It was thanks again, Mitch, for everything. And I started with I think I had 40 kilograms on my back, because I didn't want to go into Threadbow. Wanted to walk straight to Canberra without resupplying. And yes, I had lots of food, like food for, 12 days, 14 days. And I always have 2 or 3 days extra food. And you can think for one day, food around 1.5 kilograms. So yeah, probably 20 kilogram of food, so cover us. And yeah, was very keen to start walking again, like a little turtle. I always call it my turtle life.
We're here at Wombat Flat, which is the border of New South Wales and Victoria. The first state is done, just ready to go. Woohoo! And finally back at Kosciuszko National Park, which goes pretty much the way to Canberra. Nice! Oh, the Murray's flowing. Murray River.
It was pretty cool hiking all the way back, which I already hiked two months ago. You know, knowing all the huts, knowing where to sleep at night. Yeah, also I could go a little bit faster as I had seen everything already 2 months ago. And like here, Mount Kosciuszko. Mount Kosciuszko is the highest mountain in Australia, which is around 2,500 meters. It's like a walk in the park, honestly. It's easy, very easy hiking, Kosciuszko. And here, this little cute hut called Valentine's Hut. Very nice hut. Barely any people up there. I don't know, I met probably a handful of people both times hiking up there. Unfortunately, it's so cute. Also here, this is restored hut. Don't know which it was. There, of course, wildlife always, especially, I've seen most of the snakes I've seen really in the high country.
Yeah, buddy.
A lot more than in Queensland, actually. A lot more. Not so scary, just you gotta take care. And here also, I took a little bit other route. I visited the Tangaroa Dam just to go fishing a little bit. Didn't catch any. Shit happens. But the views were nice and was nice walking there. Some forest roads, which led almost all the way to Canberra. Yeah, after that I came back on the Alpine track and visited Old Man's Hut for another time. That's like 1 day away from Canberra, where I hiked in the next day. There, I was lucky I visited Tim and Brooke, which I knew from New Year's. Yeah, thanks again for the fun times. We also played a lot of games, and yeah, thanks so much. We also played tennis, Tim. Thanks. Need a revanche. Yeah, then we also went to the family farm. Look. Great up there. Yeah, north of Canberra. After that, I started.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, it's sheep country, north of Canberra. A lot of road walking. Dang, so many roads. I think 100 or 200 kilometers. I was just on the road there. The people, I mean, I visited a lot of little villages and towns, bakeries, and the people are very, very friendly and very welcoming also and helpful. And also on the road here, have you ever seen a wolf spider? There, the babies are on the back. They're carrying the babies on the back. Very interesting. And yeah, here, a little village. Nice campsites, actually. Look here, a $9 campsite. Beautiful kitchen and everything. Dang. Yeah, and then I got into the Blue Mountains. Blue Mountains, world famous. I think it's World Heritage also. I hiked on the west side, which frankly was not so nice. A lot of private properties and not in the best condition. Mount Baron Camp was nice up there. Here, a little wallaby. And this is not so nice, of course, to see those pine monocultures. And yeah, in general, the west side was not so beautiful of the Blue Mountains. Then if you get into the northern eastern part. Here also at Jenolan Caves. We also stayed one night at their camp, which was very, very old. There was nothing working, all rusty. And yeah, I kept going from there, I think another 50 k's on the road. And then I got on a very, very beautiful hike, which was in between there, Jenolan Caves and Hunter Valley. I walked over there, the hills, into Hunter Valley. And there, yeah, I really enjoyed walking through this kind of place. You know, when you were walking there, you could think of all this historic, or all those people who had walked there many years ago, even probably thousands of years ago. Yeah, because there were also, I think there were some painting. It's a hike actually. It's a trail, the Glen Ellis Trail. Even though I think there are not many people hiking there, I haven't seen anyone in days. I think. Anyway, this was one of the more beautiful parts north of Canberra. Look here, there are the old paintings on the wall. I don't know how many years, hundreds, thousands of years. Of course, you encountered with wallabies or kangaroos all the time. I mean, every day. They were always around, which was nice. Better than wild horses or wild dingoes, alpine dingoes. This was also pretty little hut, myrtle hut, and there was walking down. There's a property, a horse property, I think 40-45 kilometers long, one valley. Crazy, all day walking on one farm. Of course I made some friends. He didn't want to be my friend, but there were many iguanas around. And there, yeah, welcome to Upper Hunter Valley. Yeah, I walked into Hunter Valley and I didn't feel very well. I remember sitting there on the street and watching the cold rain passing by, coming from Newcastle, going inland. Yeah, because I had a very bad blister on my right foot. So I was lucky that my friend said, yeah, come over to Newcastle. So I came there.
You're so bad at this. Okay, hips in, out. Opposite in, out. Opposite in, out. In.
Come on, man.
In, out. Opposite. In. In. That's it, in.
In.
Out. Opposite.
No.
After a week of playing and feeding and repairing also my stuff, look at my old backpack, I kept going. And yeah, I got into the north of Newcastle. Very interesting region, very interesting hiking, and also the start of cattle country. Rather big farms already there, not much crop, yeah, a lot of cattle, and dry country. Yeah, middle northern New South Wales, very dry country. I had sometimes 70, 80, sometimes 100 kilometers without water. Here Barrington Tops was really a highlight, even though I haven't seen much. There, I think I stayed 1 or 2 nights in there at Barrington Tops. Met a nice couple who invited me for dinner. Thanks. Thanks again. And I think this is also a region which gets frequently snow. At least I've seen it on some pictures. I haven't had some. It's above 1,000 meters, 1,300. And there from Barrington Tops, I walked into some very interesting country, hinterland. The properties, I mean, it was a little bit like New Zealand there. Those rolling hills, very green, very lush, very nice. Haven't seen many people. Probably I was late in the season. Probably also my luck. Because that night I went also into a property. I climbed over a fence because the trails told me that. So I was walking like 20 kilometers into this valley, and there was the end. So I had to go, of course, through there. Was not so nice, 50 meters like hip high, green glitter stuff. And then the next day, there was this very high grass, overgrown trail. You could barely see anything. I was wearing gaiters for the first time in my life, because I was so scared of snakes, actually. Look here into really sheep country, also forest, timbering. It was not very nice there on the road all morning, getting this dust into your face. Not only there, it got a little bit better when I got on another road.
To the campsite, another 50k day. Woohoo! And look over there. Yes, water tank, water tank. And I was carrying 8 fucking liters in here. Fuck, wiki camps.
Then I got into the Australian River National Park. From there on, it was just stunning. Those valleys, all those national parks in northern New South Wales. So beautiful hiking. Such a nice nature. So much wildlife. Butterflies, and of course it was also very nice that you could find there like the whole valley was growing marijuana wild, and was very lucky at this point of my journey, but of course I also enjoyed the wildlife, and also there were some very nice huts. I think 3 or 4 huts in this valley. We're cooking some dinner, lentils with some stuff. Nice signs, always nice signs. Keep your eyes on the trail. From there, in between those national parks, of course, there was always some road walking before I got into the next national park. I think this is after Ybor. I think this is Guy Fawkes National Park. There's no one walking. You're always alone. Also no other people, no farmers, no one. Kind of no man's land. So enjoyed being by myself and hiking. Yeah, I mean, I was starting with the sunrise and hiked all day until the sunset. It got normal for me to walk like 40-50 kilometers. In general, I had 43 kilometers average, and there was also nice after the drier part in middle New South Wales, having here some water, even though not all the rivers were flowing, but I had a good amount of water. And here
I have to stop for a second, and because these days and nights made the whole trip special. When I met some random people somewhere randomly in the backcountry, like these guys, somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and I met them in the middle of the day, and they invited me to their camp, and we hung out all day. They even cooked a lamb leg for dinner. We had a shitload of beers because it was their last night and they wanted to finish everything. Lucky me. And I really appreciated that. And in general, I had so many nights like this, which I somehow appreciate. And the whole camping culture in Australia is crazy. I mean, those people go with their 4x4 jeeps and I don't know, backcountry caravans somewhere, you know, in the middle of nowhere. They're even happy if they stuck somewhere to get their winch out, to call a buddy. Hey mate, come over, I need your help. And you know, it's just so much fun. And then at the end of the day, they're somewhere in the camp in the middle of nowhere. You know, there's nothing. I mean, can be happy if there's a toilet house, but except that, you know, it's just pure nature. And I think that's also what many Australians appreciate and also love, you know. I mean, they all love the ocean, but you know, the bush is different. And the bush, there's so much, especially in Australia, there's different wildlife. And I did appreciate, or do still appreciate that we still have places like this. And yeah, so there's nights like this, you know, most appreciated when, you know, when you're sitting at the bonfire, no cell service, just talking shit, you know, just having fun, having a blast. You know, this is what it's all about, and this is what the whole trip was about. And particularly in this situation, I was very happy because I woke up that morning and I remember my left shin was double swollen. I could barely walk, and there in the middle of the day I met these folks on their motorbikes and having fun, and they invited me to their camp here. And yeah, so they also took me the next day up to Tenterfield, so I was very happy that I didn't have to walk this. So I called my buddy Johnny from the Gold Coast, which I knew also from New Zealand, and yeah, so I could go to him, went over to the Gold Coast, hitchhiked and spent a week there, and yeah, it was so much fun there. Thanks again, Johnny, for everything, also to your family for letting me stay on the farm for a couple of days to recover, which was much needed at this time. And yeah, thanks. And also to all the people I met along the trail at night who fed me, and yeah, even if we just had a talk, so much fun. Thanks again.
So there's my chin, so I was very happy that I could get a hitch from Tenterfield to the Gold Coast all the way with a very nice guy. He was very nice. We had a long chat. I mean, we were driving like 3-4 hours, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then went to Johnny. We went to a nice concert of him, and also went to Byron Bay for a couple of days, and yeah, hung out with friends and, you know, just chilling and recovering. So a lot of fun though.
Let it be now, love and peace, don't you turn back from me. Let it be now, love and peace.
Of course, I also had some repairing to do. Look at my stacks. So yeah, but recovered very well. Went back into the backcountry, into the bush, and then I walked pretty soon into Queensland, which is actually a huge state. I mean, the trek only from the border to the tip is almost 3,000 kilometers. So I enjoyed the last days in New South Wales, and then walked into Queensland, which was amazing.
Baby, hey buddy, come on, here we go. Oh, so cute. Hey, buddy. Come on, take a look. Say hello.
And the last meters in New South Wales. Look here. Queensland, last day. Damn, New South Wales. Queensland. New South Wales. Queensland. Made it. Last day.
So I walked into Queensland. Just after a couple hundred meters, I met this guy. He was watering the plants in his front yard, and we had a nice chat. And then, I kept walking, and after, a couple of Ks, I heard a car behind me, and he came by and he gave me this koala, this teddy koala, which was very cute. And this was a very warm welcome to Queensland. And if you see here, it was hot the first days. Very, very hard. So when I got to camp, mostly I was walking around 50 Ks a day. So when I got to camp, I was just so tired, and sometimes just sitting there and, just thinking of nothing. Yeah, as you see, the water situation was always a little bit tricky. Except the Alps and Cape York, I always had to find water somewhere. But here then I got into Toowoomba. Thanks, Meg, for letting me stay at your place for a couple of days and playing games. Thanks so much. And then I kept walking from there north to Toowoomba, which was very nice. And from there on, I got into subtropical climate, which made everything a little bit more nice. To be honest, I liked it somehow because the weather was constantly nice, and the temperature was, we got late fall at this point, so it was always around 25 degrees, which was nice. Some days, of course, also 30, or at night 20-25 degrees. So north of Toowoomba or in Queensland, then it was always back roads. I did some nice tracks, but mostly back road. This was also very nice, the Brisbane Valley track. It's for bikes mostly. I haven't seen any hikers, I guess, when I was walking it, so mostly bikers. Here, the Brisbane Valley Rail Trail. Nice trail, enjoyed it pretty much. A lot of people, nice cold beers along the way. In general there, nice hiking. And in this, or in these tracks, especially on those bike roads, you can make a lot of kilometers per day. And yeah, it was also cattle country. Was sometimes funny. And here also at the end of the Brisbane Valley Trail, the first time ever I've seen a white rainbow, which is very interesting, never seen before. It was morning, right in the morning, which is nice. And also road walking, of course a lot of road walking. So Queensland was also like average, I'd say around 500 kilometers from town to town. So I was carrying around 12 to 15 days worth of food, and I had to do 40-50 Ks per day, as I was unsupported and had to carry all myself. And you see, there's not much there. The farms are so big there that you barely see any farmer there. I've seen people mustering their cattle with helicopters, and I met people, who went shopping with airplanes, because it was like 6, 7, 8 hours driving, so an airplane just 1 or 2 hours, and like once per month they took the airplane to the supermarket, just because it was fast and more convenient. So just have the scale of how huge the farms are over there. And flies there, of course, cattle and flies. And this was late fall. And I remember I was talking to very young farmer, and we were chatting. And then I asked him, is it normal that there are so many flies? And he was kind of laughing at me and saying, what? there are not many flies at the moment. You should come in summer. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, this was gnarly at sometimes. All the flies, I mean, there were hundreds of on my backpack, on my shoulder. They were, you know, always traveling with me, which was also gross sometimes. But yeah, these are mostly the roads I was walking. This is like average or a good day, 50 Ks, almost 10 hours. Yeah, and here there are all the flies. Yeah, and they were traveling for free. But then I got into Grumpet Tops. Grumpet Tops, if you ever are in this region, go up there. It's around, I think, 1,000 meters up. You can see the ocean. It's gorgeous up there. I came from the back, and there, look, was very, very happy, very glad. On the bottom, the python. Yeah, Grumpet Tops was a very cool experience up there. Yeah, so if you're there around, look it up. Look there, and there I've seen the only time in Taipan, I don't know, coastal or inland. Very interesting creature. Also at night, snakes, of course, and spiders, my friends. Never been scared of spiders. They're looking pretty nice, actually. And after Grumpet Tops, walk down there, you can see also water resources. This was actually pretty good water compared to other resources I had to get water from. And yeah, then resupplied. Look here, 35 kg, yeah, 450 Ks, normal. And then I think this was Fitzroy River, the first warnings for crocodiles also. Yeah, pretty scary moments, you know, when you're crossing those rivers. Yeah, you never know. Then more back roads. Oh, so many back roads. And then I got into the Mackay region. Mackay, I think this is called the first subtropical city, and resupplied there, and walked more on back roads. Yeah, here, this was a very interesting river, because I was talking to a guy later, and he was telling me, yeah, oh, this river, yeah, I know this. There are bull sharks in there, actually. They're traveling up there. They're coming from the coast, and if they're spawning in there or just feeding, can't remember, but yeah, very interesting that I went swimming in this river, and then later that there are sharks in there, which might be aggressive. You never know. And yeah, nice stops. Queensland was here, sugarcane, the big fields of sugarcane. What was nice in Queensland, because there were a lot of fruit stops along the way on the road where you could buy some fruits or vegetables or whatever. And then I got up into the Euganella National Park, which was very nice. This is rainforest, pure rainforest, very wet, muddy. I did appreciate this a lot, because they're mostly dry rainforests up in Queensland. So this was kind of special up there. It's so nice also there to hug a tree, to, you know, kind of talk to the old trees and appreciate them being there. And up there, so many platypus. So if you want to see platypus, Euganella National Parks, so many up there. I think I was watching them all evening, you know, going up and down, and I think there were even babies. Yeah, even swim there, but of course might be dangerous. Because platypus, I don't know if you know it, but they got this peak on their back foot, which is toxic, so they can kill you. Bush chicks, I mean, to be honest, they look delicious. And then I think this is probably a little secret spot behind Juganella. Like one day walking, there's like a big dam, and it's beautiful there. And there's a campsite, and you know, even here sandy beach, and very very pretty place there. I think many people just go up to the national park because there were not many people camping, probably a handful. But very big campsite, so very cool there. And also they're walking then there in the back, on the back roads. This was in direction to the tablelands.
You're getting to a river which looks huge on the map. Even here, look, the sand 3-4 meters. And then you're getting to the actual river. And look there. Sand. Nothing except sand. No water. Not even a little paddle. Damn it.
But luckily there were fruit stands. I could get some stuff. And then I got into town, met some friends there, made some friends, met also some other travelers, which was nice there. They were traveling, but I think they had vans. So here's some Dutch people, some Italian people. I think I even stayed 2 days there. Thanks again for the fun times and hanging out together. Nice. And then I walked back up on the ridge and onto the Paluma Range. Very interesting place up there. I mean, there are many people. There's a lot of mining, or there went a lot of mining. There was a lot of mining in the past, and yeah, nice people living up there, very nice people, and of course, there are also some very nice creatures living up there. Like here, this nice little python, which I already had seen like I don't know, 200 meters away, so big, and. Yeah, emus. Emus, I haven't seen so many, once in a while, but if I've seen them, they were always like, you know, very interested, and they were following, and they were looking, and they were not running away, and yeah, they were kind of interesting to see. Better than dingoes though. I remember there like a couple hundred meters later, you know, I was looking into the bush and just could see those two eyes, and there was like this dingo looking at me, and he was then following me for a couple of Ks, and you know, then just went away. On the tablelands I was a lot tired. There was not much water. I had some nights up there where I couldn't find any water, so I was sipping on my lemon concentrate just to get my mouth a little bit wet. That was gnarly situations. If you have no water, you walk like 60-70 kilometers and couldn't find any water. You've seen hundreds of creeks on the map, but nothing. Yeah, and then got my last resupply for 1,000 kilometers and went to the tip. My backpack was heavy ass, and then just walking the first, 200 kilometers just on the road direction to Laura, and they did some back burning there, which was not so nice, walking in the smoke. And then I met this guy, Dang.
Yeah, this guy. I met him he was passing by on the road, and then like on the next park spot, I met him there in front of his caravan and motorhome actually, which was driven by his wife at this time. So he was actually on the bike. He biked like 5,500 kilometers, and his wife in the motorhome behind him. And we had a coffee, and he invited me for a coffee, you know, and he was just sitting there on this couch, you know. I mean, he was mid-70s, and, you know, he was just sitting there, and, you know, I was asking him, how old are you actually? And he said, oh, it's just a number. So he didn't tell me. And I was just fascinated, you know, by the fact that, you know, he rode his bike all the way up there, you know, which I had walked, but of course, just not even half the age. So very interesting, very inspiring, such people meeting along the trail.
Then I walked up to the bamboo range and onto the tip. There some construction workers gave me this vest to you know, that the truck drivers can see me better. Huge ass rocks up there, sandy roads, so sandy. This was not so nice. Also the dust. I had, you know, some skin irritations, which was very, very itchy. And, you know, and then some folk posted this on Facebook, and I think from there on, there were so many people stopping during the day and giving me some beverage, which was so nice. You know, we were walking and it was so hot, and, you know, people were so friendly and stopping by, and so nice. And here
I had probably the first and only really scary situation in my tent. I pitched my tent there, washed myself, and started to make dinner, and then there came a guy by. He just wanted to stop, and then we chatted for, I don't know, 1 or 2 hours. Had a couple, I think, Jim Beam Cola he had, so, and then, you know, he kept going into the night. And we already had like, you know, when I pitched my tent, there was already like an old Chevy car driving by, you know, and he was driving very slowly, because it was there next to the road. And, you know, just looking at me and then kept going. And then, you know, after a couple hours, I was already in my tent. It was dark outside. And of course I was a little bit tipsy. And, you know, then the car came and I could hear this old Chevy car, the engine. And, you know, and he stopped right in front of my tent with his lights right into my tent, you know, and he was, I mean, you know, I mean, I was alone up there. There was, you know, the next police station was, I don't know, 200, 300 kilometers away, you know. So if you get knocked there or something, you know, nothing could, you know, and he was alone there because I've seen him before. And, you know, he was just asking then if it's all right, and then, you know, he kept going, you know, I didn't want to go outside, out of my tent. And, you know, he kept asking, is it all right, is it all right? And I said, yeah, it's all right, it's all right. I just want to sleep here, I'm walking, and, you know, and then luckily he kept going. But, you know, in this situation, sometimes it's, you know, you're sitting in there and, you know, you're thinking, what the heck is going on? And, you know, what should you do? And, yeah, scary situations sometimes. But luckily, nothing happened. And, yeah.
Yeah, the tip, it's kind of a lawless place. And so I really appreciated to have company at night to camp with some people. At some camp spots I had probably only 2 or 3 nights where I camped alone. And then I got on the old telegraph track. Wow, people, the people, dang, it's so funny. Like I mentioned earlier, there are many people just get up there in this track. I mean, this is like once in a lifetime thing, just to wreck their Jeeps. Here on those muddy, steep stuff, they have so much fun there. And I mean, I don't have a driver's license, I can't understand, but these people had so much fun there, and it was just, for me, it was fun watching them going up there with their family, and yeah, and enjoying driving on the old Teddy track, which just was hiking, also very nice. I mean, left in this just bush there, pure bush. I also met this lovely family, the McCarrans, who were traveling around Australia for 1 year, and we had some nice time together. And yeah, you rock, guys. I hope you're doing good. So the last couple 100 kilometers was just enjoying myself, enjoying the people, enjoying the track. Here, Jordan River, Ferryman, the last step to the top. And then here I made it to the top finally. Wow. It was not a relief, to be honest. I mean, I was happy that it was finished, but I didn't want to be this finished.
Yeah, so I'm finished hiking, through hiking the east coast of Australia. What a journey. If I will do it again? No. To be honest, no. For the people, yes. For the experience with wildlife and the nature, yes. But hiking, walking the whole east coast, unsupported, not really. The problem really is water. All the way, like I mentioned before, only in the Alps and on the tip was really a lot of water. Otherwise I always had to look and ask people for water. I mean, that's something seems kind of normal for every Australian, you know, to have like a 10 liter bag of water in their car. So this was always very convenient, because also, I mean, most of the people stop by when they pass by on the back roads to ask what I'm doing and if I need water, which was what was very nice. So that helped me a lot. Otherwise, I think would have been even harder. I mean, that's like I said, the water situation was the biggest problem. Not wildlife or anything else. It was really water. But in general, yeah, the people are very keen to see someone hiking there. I mean, I don't know, there are probably a handful people hiked this before. I don't know if there was anyone unsupported before. To be honest, I didn't care. And yeah, after that, I went from Cairns to Tasmania, because everyone, you know, from Melbourne to the tip, anyone was telling me, you have to go to Tasmania. You have to go to Tasmania. I've been through. Okay, so I stayed 2 weeks, I think, at Lynn and Archer's place, and then I took the plane to Tasmania, to Hobart, and there I met Michael's brother and the family, where I could stay for a couple weeks actually. And thanks so much again for this experience. And yeah, Tasmania was another experience. If you want to see something, tell me. And yeah, otherwise, if you have any questions, please let me know. Yeah, I'm happy to answer some. And yeah, happy hiking all. I have to thank some people who made this trip very special, who helped me a lot, and I couldn't have done without them. So here, first, thank you so much to all people in general, but especially I want to thank
Jade and Will, you've been so welcoming, and I can't thank you enough for everything you've done for me, and also for teaching me so much about Australian culture and introducing me to your family and playing a million games. It's deeply appreciated, and thank you for everything, and also to your family.
Michael, I couldn't thank you enough for everything you've done, because yeah, I was very lucky. I was walking southbound on the Alpine track, Australian Alps walking track actually, and he was walking northbound, and we met at one afternoon in a thunderstorm at some hut, and yeah, he has done the trek 15 years ago, and it took him 1 year to finish this whole thing, and he helped me so much in planning, and he already had done all the planning, so yeah, I was very lucky that I met him, and thanks again for everything, for being a friend, teacher, coordinator along the trail, someone I could always call, and thanks so much for your help. It's coming deep from my heart, just thank you, because yeah, I think I wouldn't, first of all, I wouldn't have walked to the tip, because he told me to do the Cape York, and yeah, Cape York has been something very, very special. I think only people who've been up there and who've done this trip can somehow relate to this, because it's no man's land, there's not much, and it's just about a community up there, and that it was. So thank you again. Thank you.
Then of course Lynn and Arthur, who done the Bicentennial National Trail bikepacking. You were simply an inspiration. Thank you so much for everything. These three for sure. We had a great time. They brought me back from the Cape down to Cairns. Thanks again for everything. You've been a blast.
Und natürlich dir, Mama. Ich weiß, dass du nicht magst, was ich mache, aber du mich trotzdem unterstützt, und das bedeutet viel. Herzlichen Dank dafür.